Old model steamboats in poor condition. Part 21. A few simple jobs to finish the project. Adjusting the rudder linkages, finishing painting the deck cover, lagging steam pipes which get very hot, and finally I show Edith in steam in the bath. The radio control system is fitted and working. The engine's not in place yet, so when I move the regulator you'll see that the engine moves about, but very shortly I will be bolting the engine in place. The regulator works fine, the engine speeds up and slows down, and when I throw the switch on the transmitter, the gas cut-off valve cuts off the gas, not forgetting the rudder that works very well indeed. To finish the job I need to bolt the engine in place, fit the boiler and bolt that in place, and I need to make sure that all the unions are fully tight on the water system, the gas system and the steam system. Then I will float the boat in the bath that's sitting on my lawn, and I will ballast the boat to take it down to the water line. Then I'll steam it and see how it goes. There are some accessories to fit to the superstructure and the deck, but for the moment I want to take a look at this. Originally this thing was soldered to the deck and it was very rusty and very badly painted. And as part of my sympathetic restoration I decided to reuse this part to cover the radio control system. The idea was to put plenty of green paint on this to stop it from rusting. And now it's time to paint around these vent things on the top with some black paint. This is how it was originally. As you're watching me do this, just look around the image that you're looking at, the deck and part of the superstructure, because that's not brilliantly painted either. Remember, this is a very old metal boat made by soldering bits and pieces together to make the shape. And it's absolutely full of imperfections, but this is the charm of the model. Think about this. I'm capable of remaking this part, or refinishing it so you can see your face in it. But then it would look wrong and it wouldn't fit in with the paintwork on the rest of the boat. Although this boiler doesn't have a superheater, the steam coming from the boiler is quite hot. Plus, this short piece of pipe connects the displacement lubricator to the main steam tap on the boiler. And both the steam tap and the displacement lubricator need to be operated at some stage using fingers. It's not too bad for me because I work with steam engines and very hot boiler parts very frequently, so my hands are quite heat-proof. I'll still feel the pain of course, but it's not too bad, and it's a good indication for future reference that I should not touch this part with my bare fingers. But if the pipe is wrapped in string as shown here, it doesn't get quite as hot. I suppose it's a health and safety issue really. I've made quite a few videos on the channel showing the process of pipe cladding in greater detail, so if you want some more information about doing this job, please watch some of my other videos. And if you want to watch the videos a bit earlier and get some free downloads and some other things that are not on here, please join Patreon. This string on the pipe is hidden inside the hull, and it's better to make it functional and stop you burning your fingers than it to just look pretty. So once I removed the hairiness from the string using the blowtorch, I then painted the insulation on the pieces of pipe using some leftover brilliant white emulsion paint from when I painted the ceiling in my bedroom. You can buy this sort of paint from most DIY outlets, and you can buy them in tester pot form, a small test pot to see what colour you want. Well, the colour you need for this is brilliant white. This is a tin of clear matte varnish, and guess what this is for? Is to turn this shiny green thing on the deck, which now has black bits on it, into a green thing with black bits on the deck that is not shiny. In this clip, as you can see, it's not as shiny, but the paint hasn't fully dried. Later on it should fit in much better than it did. I do appreciate that the colour is not identical to the colour around the edge of the boat, but it sort of fits in with the general paint standard of the rest of the boat. If you saw episode 1, when I first floated the boat in the bath, it sank to the bottom. I'm hoping it's not going to do that now. With the help of my friend Jonathan, we carefully placed the boat in the bath, and it's sitting quite well. It's listing a bit to one side, that's because the engine has the water pump assembly on one side. So it's time to cut some sheet lead to ballast the boat and get it to sit level and to the waterline. Here's the boat in the water. There's about 40 pounds per square inch in the boiler, and I'm opening the regulator on the radio control unit. And off it goes. This is a great engine. It doesn't need drain cocks, it always starts. It only goes in one direction though, that's the big problem. Well, is it a big problem? With a rudder that size, this boat will turn on a sixpence, so it's probably going to be fine. With the boat in this small bath, all I can really do is use the rudder to move it from side to side in the water, which it does very well. In this clip I'm going to press down on the front of the boat to lift the prop out of the water. Initially I put the lead inside the stern of the boat, but it was too heavy, so I've just temporarily put it on the stern of the boat, and the good news is I don't need to use any ballast. I need to take out some of the lead ballast that I put in the bow of the boat in front of the water tank. There is a minor problem as well. There is some water coming into the boat. Despite all the glass fibre, it's coming in around the wooden support for the boiler. It's only a very small amount of water, but I'll use some sealant to stop this. If you've been following this series, you will know how bad this hull was to start with. There were a lot of cracks in the plates and the front of it was split. But thanks to some time and effort, not to mention the glass fibre resin and the glass fibre itself, the boat is now much stronger than it ever was, and apart from these very small weeps around the wooden part where I couldn't really glass fibre, everything's looking good really. On the mechanical front, the engine's running really well, and the propeller that I've fitted to it is the perfect size. It's producing plenty of thrust without over-revving the engine. For steaming purposes, the boat is going to have to be run with the front hatch removed, so that the gas burner can get plenty of air.
Gas cut-off test.
Well, the gas cut-off works, as you can hear. My friend Jonathan, who helped me test the boat, took some really nice pictures with his camera. So I thought I would include them here as a bit of an extra feature. And everything was going well until he took a picture of me. Then the camera lens cracked.
I hope you've enjoyed this series about Edith the steamboat. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Main Steam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.